Coming up on ECG, esports may become an Olympic event.
Batman Signal.
The Disney Netflix deal isn't really that bad.
Everybody's getting sued.
All this and more coming up on the East Coast Geek podcast. Welcome to episode 109 of the East Coast Geek podcast for Friday, August 18th, 2017, where we bring you all the latest news on comics, movies, and gaming. I'm your host, Jeremy, and with me always is Opu. How you doing, bud?
Hey, I'm doing pretty okay. It's been a pretty good day so far, actually.
Well,
Nothing to complain about that I know of.
That's good. That's good. That is good. Well, I'm going to, first things first, I'm going to jump in your craw here. And I'm going to share this article, and you're going to have to click on it and look at it, but you should probably have already seen it. It's up there in the chat. So the title is Sonic the Hedgehog's Rogue Fans Program Characters Revival. And basically, this is saying that Sega is doing what Nintendo's not, and instead of shutting out programmers and artists who are making unlicensed Sonic the Hedgehog fan games, Sega Sammy Holdings Inc. is giving them jobs. Is this something that, and this is from August 9th, is this something that has to do with the coming back of Sonic Mania?
Well, sorry to cut you off, but Sonic Mania, was programmed by pretty much fans. And look at the ratings. It's got the highest scores in a decade for Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm seeing 8.6s, 9.2s, 8s across the board. You know, very high grades. My version of Sonic Mania is actually coming Sunday. For some reason, it didn't get delivered today. Don't know why, unfortunately. But I got the PC version as opposed to the Xbox version.
Well, you can still use your Xbox controller, so.
Yeah, well, that's what I was like. And then I can stream it, you know. But, I really, really like Sonic, so I'm glad to see this. And you're right. So they see these people making all these ROM hacks of Sonic or whatever character, you know.
Right.
And Nintendo is violently doing cease and desist. You know, these are complete fan games. Sorry, I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit. These are complete fan games that they're releasing for free, just out of the goodness of their hearts.
Right.
Like, oh, well, we got an idea we'd love to see Pokemon do. Or if Nintendo's like, yeah, we're not going to take this route with Mario, well, the gamers are going to take that route. Or they're going to make the games harder for them. You know, whatever.
Right.
Sega or whoever's finally seen, like, the passion. And, like, you know, these guys could be making us money.
Yeah,
and they're making them money because if you hire fans, the fans know what other fans want, because all we do is spend times, you know, in video game echo chambers talking about the parts we love about Sonic the Hedgehog or Mario or Pokemon or Zelda. You know?
Right, yeah, your message boards and your community groups that you're talking with.
Exactly. And guess what? Everybody said the same thing. Even people that are detractors of Sonic the Hedgehog because it's the cool thing to do right now.
Right.
I said the 2D games were great. Yes, they knew what their physics were and they worked towards them. And that's what they did with this game. Even when they released Sonic 4, it's like the physics were wonky.
Right.
And didn't mesh with the gameplay.
So this is a good thing then.
I think it's a good thing that they're hiring. I mean, obviously, you don't want to get the weirdos out there that are making, like, I don't know what to say without making it rated X, but, you know, those kind of people that do the weird slash fix, you know.
I'm familiar with that branch of the mods for Skyrim, so.
Yeah. Those are not the people you want hiring. The people you want hiring is, hey, we love this concept of your character. Let's take him back to that.
Good stewards of the IPs.
Yeah, I think it's good for the IPs. It shows that you listen to fans and not in that PR way where we're like, oh, we listen to our fans and we're re-releasing Skyrim again. That's not listening to them at all. What was it? Like, There was that one guy that I showed you that video when we did the live, we were both in the room recording, where the guy said, okay, you want to make Sonic fresh again? Here's some ideas. You want to incorporate needing the rings. Well, the rings unlock his other abilities.
Right.
Stuff like that. It was, and it slowed down the pace of Sonic. That kind of stuff. Maybe sometimes you need fresh blood. And unfortunately, so Nintendo's just not doing that. And I think the Metroid game they just shut down, which looked amazing.
Yeah.
Why didn't they hire those guys? Why didn't, Birds and the Bees buds? Yeah, that's a plot way of saying it. There's that like Pokemon Uranium that came out that looked neat.
Right.
It's weird. JonTron did a video on it, but the Moemon, where it was Pokemon, it was like the cat girl type of Pokemon, and they were like little cute girls.
Right.
But it was like creative in its own way. It wasn't like obscene, at least not the parts I played. I don't know how far you have to get into for that stuff, but it was just like kind of cute. It was weird. Don't get me wrong, it was weird, but at least it was a different idea. And if to continue on this tangent, if Nintendo had been listening to fans, they would have released Pokemon Snap 2 by now on the 3DS.
Yeah, no kidding.
Or on the Wii U.
On the 3DS, that's a no-brainer. You could augmented reality. I mean,
the Pokemon Dream Radar. That was basically Pokemon Snap.
Yeah.
They were like 75% there. They just had to put in Todd Snap.
Yeah.
And it would have been they would have been done. Absolutely done. Oh my goodness. Now I'm hot on this.
All right.
Whew.
Well, before we get into all the other stuff you've been doing this week, I'm gonna drop a bomb.
Uh-oh.
So it's no secret over the past year or so I've been tracking the progress of No Man's Sky. So it was on sale this past weekend for 60% off. So I paid $23.99 for it. I feel like the game is definitely worth a little more than $23.99 from what I've played so far. It feels a lot different. It plays a lot different and a lot better. They've changed a lot of the systems and they've done things that should have been done at launch. Guaranteed, shame on them for not doing certain things before launch or even delaying until they got it right. Sorry about that. Do you remember any of the videos I did? Because you didn't play it at all, right?
I haven't played No Man's Sky. Oh, I've seen some of the stuff.
So back in the day, you used to be able to just jump around a planet and find all these crashed down ships and just take them over. Well, they changed the way it works. When you take over a ship that's crashed down, like 2/3 of the slots for cargo are destroyed and have to be repaired by paying credits for them. So they put a little bit of a money sink in there. But also, all the systems are damaged, so you can't even get that thing off the ground till you gather up the stuff you need to repair. So they've put a little difficulty in what used to be a really easy thing, which is kind of nice. I will have to keep playing it a little more because I've gotten into things like I got into a fight when I jumped into a system because a freighter was being attacked. I helped the freighter and then I got a little pop-up that said, hey, the freighter captain wants to talk to you. Land on the freighter and go get your reward. Because I helped save I stopped the pirates from attacking. So I went in there and collected my reward, and I was looking, and I was like, oh, look, it says, inquire about purchasing this freighter. Like 300 million credits for a freighter, but it gives you 6 ship slots, and you can have up to 6 different ships on your freighter. Which means specialized roles, like you can make a fully combat ship or a full freighter, or not freighter, cargo ship to use to move stuff. And you can control the freighter and have it jump from system to system. So it's basically like a home away from home base. With what I was mentioning, I think I mentioned a couple of months ago when they added the patch in to add in a home base feature, which is actually really freaking cool. And they've expanded on that, and I've spent the past couple of nights playing that for hours, trying to get through the story missions for the different stations you can build in there. You can actually go to the space stations and hire people to work on your base to be a weapon specialist, a vehicle specialist, a scientist to do research, and your head overseer for the base. and they'll send you out on tasks to do things. And it's taken hours to get through it, and I'm not even, as far as I can tell from what I've been reading, I'm not even a quarter of the way through what they've programmed in for that. So they've changed a lot. They've added a lot of story. This supposedly 30 hours of story that's been added in addition to what's already there for the Atlas stuff. So I like it.
I mean, it took them a year and a half after they released the game to actually put the gameplay in there, but
it's been a year. The year anniversary patch was just a couple of weeks ago, so
it took them a year.
Yeah, it's
actually put gameplay in their game.
Yeah, it feels less. It feels less of a grind than it used to be, especially with that ground vehicle that you can get with your base. That's pretty amazing.
Oh, you get yourself a little Mako, huh?
Yeah, basically. There's 3 different versions of it too, so probably according to storage size and capabilities, but there's missions tied to that, so you don't just get given the modules to do things. Like, when you first start with the thing, it's just a vehicle with an engine in it. And as the quests go, you get a cannon for it to do damage, and then a mining laser to use as well. And that thing is pretty badass, so... I'm pleased with it so far. I'll have to do some more playing on it and see what else has changed. Try and make a couple 100 million credits to buy a ship, so...
You should just steal one.
I wish you could. I wouldn't stand a chance.
That should be in the game. You should be able to be a privateer.
You can be to a point, but I don't know if you can... I mean...
You can't attack an NPC ship and take it over?
You can, but it's probably going to take a lot of freaking... I don't know if you can take it over by force, but... you know, when they get attacked, they launch fighters too, and... I don't know. I don't know. I have to...
That's gameplay right there. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'd have to...
I would love to play in an open universe like that as a villain.
Yeah, that would be neat. Apparently, that needs to be addressed too. I was reading through some comments on Reddit, and somebody said that you can just randomly attack ships that are on the landing platforms on the planet sides, and with no repercussion, just attack them and destroy them and get loot. So, I'm sure...
Yeah, you would think you would put in some kind of like platform defenses there, at least to help stall until the player could get back to the ship or whatever, or maybe some kind of shielding.
Right.
You know, you can't let you can't punish your players because you forgot to program something in. Things have to feel like it's, you know, the player fails because the player screwed up.
Right.
You know?
Oh, that's another thing. Low flights in the game finally. You can map of the Earth fly above the ground now.
Oh, okay.
And with the risk of crashing your ship. So and when you die, you go back to a save point and you have to go down to the planet. One of the other things is in your home base, you can teleport from a space station down to the planet, back to your home base. From any system, you can do that.
Oh, okay.
And when you go between the two, I found out that it actually moves your ship.
Oh, it moves your ship for you, too, so you don't somehow trap yourself.
Right.
That's always good.
But yeah, it's been fun so far. I've been having a blast. I don't even know. I should look to see how many hours I logged while we're talking about other stuff. But for a cheaper price than $60, if you can get it, I'd recommend it at this point. But everywhere had it for 60% off. Good Old Games had it again. Steam had it. I actually got it because my father, while he was in town last weekend, that's why we didn't have a show. I had relatives in. They had purchased it for Christopher, so I purchased it because they also added in some multiplayer faction, or not faction, but
so you can actually see the other players now too. Oh, what?
They show up as orbs right now when they're people. Their ships are fully functioning and fully show up, but when you're on the ground, you see them as like a wisp. I've played 21 hours since I got it on Saturday or Sunday. So, and I've restarted once already. Now my consideration is do I restart because I should have been streaming all this time. Because all the quests for the stuff for the base. Plus I want to remake my base. But you can just do that at any moment, and all your stuff that you used to make your last base will be transferred to your new base in a little box.
Oh, so
and
it's
you'll
kind of like a roguelike in a way, like that you can transfer stuff to the new character?
Yeah, well, basically, yeah. It'll basically what happens when you establish your new base, it destroys your old one because you can only have one.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a little box next to the blueprint vendor, which is another neat thing they added.
You can only have one. Can you have outposts? You might have like a main base, but you can't have outposts.
No, but they've added some things like you can build outposts through some of the tech that's available. Like you can make what they used to have is these beacons you used to interact with, and they tell you where drop pods are, or down ships, or minerals, or other life forms and stuff like that. They used to be a thing that was just in the world. Now it's something that you can create. They have mobile save points that you can make. You can just, it's like 50 iron. You plop it down and it acts as a save point. Yeah, semi-multiplayer for now. It's closer because, like I said, you can see the other player's ship, which means you could theoretically fly through space with them. But it's definitely moving the markers. So,
I was giving them crap, but I'm glad that they've tried to keep to this, and they didn't like, oh well, we really screwed that up. No Man's Sky 2, that's what we're going to do, and that one's going to totally work. So, which is pretty much what the creator of my favorite series, Fable, did.
wow.
Is that he's like, this is going to be the best game ever. It's going to do all this stuff, and then he releases it. He's like, yeah, that's crap. You shouldn't have played it. You're stupid for playing that game.
But this next one,
the sequel is going to have all that stuff and more. Okay, and that one was crap. Why'd you buy it? I never told you to buy it.
Fable 3,
three's going to be it.
Yeah, it's the end all be all.
Oh my god! Ooh, I would never buy another Fable game.
All right, last thing I have, Defenders came out this weekend, last night at like 3 a.m. I didn't watch any because I was knee deep in Supernatural and No Man's Sky. So I am now almost to the end of, I think, season 8 of Supernatural. So I've been trucking along on that. It's been, I think, almost 2 weeks I've been watching it now. So I'm definitely making progress. Between that and sinking endless hours into Battlegrounds still. So I can't stop. I can't stop. I've
noticed.
I intend
you usually drop games so fast. Like when you got No Man's Sky, I was expecting Battlegrounds to go by the wayside, but you're still plugging at it.
I intend to sit down and just play a whole night of No Man's Sky, and nope. People are on playing Battlegrounds. I gotta go get some. It's still a blast, and I can't wait till they start releasing new maps. They'll add some more randomness to it. So, anyways, yeah. So Defenders came out this morning. We'll have something about it next week. Hopefully, no spoilers.
Yeah, I'm probably going to try to stay up late and at least get half of it done.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about maybe finishing out Luke Cage and Iron Fist before I sit down and watch that. So
I would rather see a. Now, Iron Fist was okay when it was focused on Iron Fist, except for some of the fight scenes, obviously. But that's not, you can't blame the actor for that.
Well, I think I have maybe 3 or 4 episodes of Luke Cage, and then most of Iron Fist to do. So
yeah, I've watched all but the last 1 or 2 episodes of Luke Cage, and I was really enjoying it because it's just different. It's not as necessarily action packed as Daredevil and stuff. It's not like a fight every episode, and it doesn't have to be. Even though yes, it's a superhero, but he's not the same type of superhero as Daredevil is. At least not at first. Now later on, obviously he does if they ever pull him in to fight Electro or whatever. But yeah, so I'm gonna try out some Defenders tonight. I've got to finish Ash versus the Evil Dead season 1. I've yet to finish that.
What?
Yes, I've got it on Blu-ray up there, and I've okay. See, I don't want to watch it with the kid around. I don't want that to be her first memory is Ash blowing some Deadites head off.
Oh, come on. That's the best way to start your childhood.
Yeah. But so I don't want to do that to her. But by the time I get her to sleep, I'm tired. I'm like, I can't stay up and watch. I've got to get up at work. Go to work early in the morning. So.
Christopher last week finally finished Stranger Things. He loved it. He
Well,
can't.
yeah, but Christopher's like 8 or 10. I've got a 5-month-old, like a 6-month. I don't know.
Well, she ain't
Less
gonna
than a
remember
year.
anything. She ain't gonna remember anything.
Yeah,
Just turn her away from the TV.
I'm trying not to do that to her because maybe when she's a little older, then she can watch this stuff with me. But right now, I don't need that. But yeah. So I'm trying to finish that. Now I've got Defenders to do. But you know what else came out?
What else came out?
DuckTales, man, woohoo! DuckTales. Disney released the first two. I guess the first 2 episodes, the overall pilot, the hour-long pilot,
Right.
on YouTube last week. So I
Right.
finally got to sit down and watch that this week, and let me tell you, it's really good. Like I don't know, I really enjoyed it. You know, it takes a little bit to get used to Scrooge's voice. David Tennant does a really good job though, and you eventually get into it. But when you've spent 20 years hearing one guy play one character,
Yeah.
it's hard to like shift gears.
David Tennant's getting into the voice acting, by the way. He's going to be a big part of the Nazi zombies for the Call of Duty World War II. I think is the full title of it. He's doing a voice. I think he's voicing the Nazi doctor who's doing the zombie program in that game.
Well, he does have he does good at voices, I guess.
Yeah.
I really enjoy him in this, and I don't know what to say. There's pretty decent action scenes in there, especially just for the first couple of episodes. Some actual genuine laughs. I found myself actually laughing at some of it. Donald Duck is pretty badass in this. He
Really?
Actually, he does. I keep saying actually. He does a lot of stuff. I don't want to spoil too much, but he and the boys and Scrooge end up at the same place at the same time.
Are they embracing his war history?
Huh?
Are they embracing his war history?
Not exactly, but they've embraced jeez, I guess we're being attacked. No, they do. The boys, they just think Donald's goofy. Well, he's not goofy, but he's just their useless uncle.
Right.
And then they find out, he went on all the adventures that Uncle Scrooge used to go on to.
Oh, great.
Go with, and so he's actually really competent at this kind of stuff in his own way. But he's too focused on the boys to actually get anything done for the most part. But it's still a really good episode. And I think it's going to do good. I think it's going to do good.
All right.
So there's that. And now we got another book review. I mean, literally, because it's called Another.
By
Yukito So, sorry, I got a cold. So the premise of this is the story focuses on a boy named Koichi Sakibara, who, upon transferring into Yomiyama Middle School and meeting the curious Mai Misaki, he finds himself in a mystery revolving around students and people related to his class, falling victim to gruesome, senseless deaths. So, the premise, I enjoyed it. The mysteries that they had, there were several mysteries in here. I feel like it's too long for its own good, though. It just feels like there's a lot of useless padding in here that the character development that they're trying for was unnecessary. It was covered under other dialogue or chapters, and they keep reiterating the same this is the curse we're under and all this stuff.
We get it. Chapter 2, they already explained that. Yeah,
and then they cut to dialogue to other characters that you don't know who they are, and it never really goes anywhere. It's not like it says 30 years ago or whatever before. So a lot of fluff, a lot of reiteration. But here's the thing: since this is originally a Japanese book, I don't know if I can bash it on that because that might be how their style of writing, unfortunately.
Right.
But yeah, so some of the work, fluff, unnecessary information, and the twist. I don't know if the twist is fair to the reader because there weren't enough hints for you to you can't look back at it and be like, oh, that clue and that you know, it's just like, oh, this comes out of nowhere because it's being told from a certain perspective.
Right.
So you only know what that character knows. But I think it was just unfair. The premise is very interesting. Don't get me wrong. And there is a live action film for this, and there's a anime. I'm going to try out the anime amongst all the other things I'm trying to watch and read. But I'm going to try out the anime, see how that compares to this, and see if it's because some stories are best told in a certain medium. Unfortunately,
right.
Watchmen, which I really enjoy that movie, is best served in a comic book format because that's the way it's built around, you know. So I don't know.
Less big blue penis in it too.
Yes, it does several times. But and we've talked about that. There was a purpose to it, you know. So I'm not going to get into that. But this is a series that I've been meaning to get into for years, and I just finally buck up and bought the omnibus #1, Blade of the Immortal. Ta-da! Check that out.
That's nice art.
Oh, if I didn't show the cover well enough, too many glares in here. I've got to really work on that. So, anyways, Blade of the Immortal. This is good. This is really good. Okay, let me just spoiler alert to the review. It's really good. The premise: Blade of the Immortal follows the deeds of Manji. This guy, that guy right there with my finger, a skilled samurai who has a decisive advantage. No wound can kill him, except for a rare poison and potentially being decapitated. Maybe. I don't know. In the past, his criminal actions led to the death of 100 other samurai, including his sister's husband, which drove his sister insane, by the way. Because she was there when he killed her. He just didn't realize. He's like he's about to fight this guy. He's like, his name sounds familiar. Whatever. And just kills the guy, and then his sister pops up just as like the head flies off, and she literally catches it. And he's like, "Oh, oops." But so he becomes immortal at the hands of an 800-year-old nun, and is compelled by the death of his sister and the people that he had killed to accept a quest that will end his agelessness. He has vowed to make amends by killing 1,000 evil men. And until he does, Manji will be kept alive by the sacred bloodworms, remarkable creatures that allow him to survive nearly any injury and reattach severed limbs even hours after separation. So I really enjoy the art. This is the first 3 volumes, roughly. And as we all know, most mangas start off rough, and the characters the way they look at the beginning is not, well, this could go for any comic, any art, really. Don't look how they look at the end.
Right.
But the art stays pretty consistent. Some of it is very rough, but you get really clear. Let me see. I need to start bookmarking. Like, you get scenes like this, which are very well done, you know, very, very strong moments. You get, I had it, but some of the fight scenes just look really rough. But I feel like that's not really a fight scene, but it's an action scene. But I feel that ties in with the themes of the story. So here's the thing about the real world. What makes a person evil? Is that man evil because he stole a loaf of bread? Or is he good because he was trying to feed his family?
Mm-hmm.
And he was going to sacrifice everything of him to feed them.
So,
you know?
So super down to the nitty-gritty moral choices. Right,
so he finds out, like, it starts off early in the story, he finds out that finding 1,000 evil men is not as easy as he thinks. Especially because those 100 men that he killed were good people. He killed his sister's husband in more or less in self-defense, but the guy was a cop trying to catch a deranged killer.
Right.
Him. He was a samurai under a lord, killing off people that he was told were evil, but they were farmers and workers that were being taxed to death by his master. And they were trying to find somebody to help them.
Right.
They were going to the authorities, and so he was told the wrong stuff. So he's struggling to find actual evil people. So this girl right here, she she is involved with this samurai clan, not necessarily samurai, but this swordsman school that's going around wiping out every school, and they're trying to make a pure form of sword fighting, so to speak, where it doesn't matter about honor. All that matters is winning. Whatever sword techniques they pick up along the way, that's what their whole style is going to be. And bad things happen to her and her family, and so she's hired him to more or less to find these guys and kill them. And he's like, well, yeah, that sounds evil enough, so that's what he works towards. And let me tell you, it's dark. There's a lot of blood, a lot of gore in this. There are, wish I had some scenes. There's one scene when he gets poisoned, and all the old wounds that he had that had been stitched together are coming apart. Because the worms are tying him together.
Right.
Are disintegrated. One of the first scenes is him like slicing a guy's head up. Several times. Let me see if I can find it right here. Oh, throwing a sword through there. One of the interesting things about this, and I know I'm kind of dragging this on, is that he doesn't use one weapon. He has dozens hidden in his uniform, of all various sizes and types. So so there's a lot of interesting things going on in this. So and like I said, the villains aren't black and white. So there's even a little story arc with some of the villains and them failing at getting love or whatever. And it's
right.
The one criticism I have for it is that very early on there's a lot of awkward time skips. So you don't know how long it's been since she hired him and the first big fight. But it kind of like fades away as the book goes on.
Right.
So it might have been just him getting his feet,
Okay.
which is fair. I give most mangas, comics, even book series or TV shows, I give them 2 or 3 episodes because that's usually how long it takes for the
going.
actors to find the character, for the writers to find the characters, for the story to find itself. If somebody says a show takes 26 episodes to get good, it's just not a good show.
Right.
If it takes 2 or 3, okay. If it takes 2 or 3 volumes, I'll give it. But I'm definitely going to continue this.
Listen, Breaking Bad is a great show. It's just those first 6 episodes are really slow because it's all development.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
Which is the first season.
I'm willing to go so far as to give them an entire first season. If they are able to develop a certain character, at least they'll be, well, let me see where that character goes.
Yeah.
Because Breaking Bad, I do not care about his wife, and I really don't care about his son. But I care about the main character, especially at the beginning, because you feel kind of bad for him.
Even throughout the movie, the wife and son don't play a huge role. They have their arcs, but they aren't. The wife eventually gets a little more involved in the story, but not so much towards the first few seasons. So
right, yeah. So I'm just telling you, if there's some kind of hook that can get me,
right?
If I didn't like the art style or whatever,
right.
But I like the characters, or if I do like the art style, and I really let me see where it's going to go a little bit. But this has a ton of hooks that I can, and it's just nice to see that guy's evil. I'm good. I need to fight him and beat him. Oh, and I'm not going to kill him, though. This guy absolutely will kill you.
Great.
And he's not that nice. But there's a very, very heartwarming story. Well, it's kind of heartwarming in its own way. But I won't go into it here, but there was one story I was sitting there like, aw. It was tender to me.
All right, well, what do you say we talk about Batman's new sidekick's costume?
I guess.
All right, so Batman's newest sidekick, Duke Thomas, gets some major upgrades after the new superhero's name and costume as part of the announcement for Batman and the Signal. The costume in particular has been getting quite a lot of attention from fans, with some noticing a very strong similarity to another noteworthy superhero.
What does it look like to you?
Batman.
It looks like his costume looks like Batman.
Oh! You mean the overall motif? It looks like
Batman's costume looks like Batman.
He looks kind of like Wolverine, is what you're getting at, right?
Just a bit, yes. So, so there's a lot of jokes that people were tweeting out that the similarities between Marvel Comics Wolverine, yes, with the. I mean, and the thing is with Wolverine, it's not like he's wearing a red cape, Superman's wearing a red cape. That's the same costume. They went out of their way to mimic this costume.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I do like the Signal's costume, and it's kind of an interesting concept for a character overall. But really, guys, some people are also saying that it looks like Darkclaw. If you don't remember Darkclaw, well, do you remember Darkclaw? Do you know Darkclaw?
No, I'm gonna.
Okay, so I'm gonna totally butcher this, but it's the Amagram universe from the 90s.
Amalgam.
So what happened?
Amalgam universe.
I read good, but I can't talk good.
Which is literally Batman with Wolverine claws.
The character's name is Logan Wayne, sir.
Okay? So Wolverine,
here's
Batman.
what happened with that universe. I think we've discussed it on the show before. But DC Universe and Marvel Universe merged together. And so a bunch of superheroes merged in together. Sometimes it was like 2 or 3 concepts came together. Sometimes not. So Bruce Wayne and Logan, or James Howlett, whatever, merged together and became Darkclaw, Logan Wayne. A billionaire who was part of a super Weapon X program. And his rival, the Hyena, which is Sabretooth and the Joker, merged together. They were the other one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was, it looks really 90s with the way the claws look and everything, but it was kind of cool because...
It is. It says in 1996, both DC and Marvel Comics published a crossover series where Batman and Wolverine were made into one called Darkclaw.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There was Super Soldier, who was basically Superman and Captain America. But one of the interesting thing about him is that he got frozen in the ice after World War II, and when he came back, his powers were fading. So he could only use so much of his powers, and every time he did, his well drained, so to speak.
Even the costumes even got claw rips in it in the old one, the 96 version. I just linked a picture of it. It says Batman plus Wolverine equals run for your life. God, that's terrible.
So maybe they're going to have to go back to the drawing board with that one, so to speak. But hey, Duke Thomas, I don't know him. I'll be honest, I don't know him, but I did some research. So during the events of Zero Year, Duke Thomas's family found and took care of a knocked out Bruce Wayne. In the Riddler, and this is like a compressed version of a bunch of stuff that he did because it's really long. So in the Riddler-controlled Gotham City, the only way to return things back to the way they were was to stump the city's new ruler with a riddle. So Duke spent his days solving riddles and attempting to concoct the perfect one that would save the city. While he never did, Batman admired the young boy's intelligence and determination. Batman would later save young Duke from 2 thugs in the Savage City. Now, here's what I find interesting about this. This kid was new, and he was like, I need to beat the Riddler. Although he's intelligent and he's determined, he doesn't somehow magically pull out a riddle out of his butt that the Riddler couldn't solve.
Right. He wasn't a convenient plot device. Which
I'll get into. Remind me, plot device, in just a second. So he just wasn't able to do it, but it shows something of his character. We want to see a character fail to get better. We don't want them to start off at the top where, this is the smartest person in the world. No, this is the smartest person in the world. Basically, Marvel, what I'm saying is that when you create original characters, they're stupid.
Right.
You have to make them flawed. So his life gets more and more involved in the vigilante business. He was there in Endgame, Robin War, Robin School, the Joker, Super Heavy. Those are all story arcs that he was involved in. So it's not out of the blue. He's at Robin School. He was trained as a Robin, that kind of stuff. Interesting to note, there is a villain also called Signal Man in DC Comics who recently appeared in DC Rebirth. So it would be cool if Signal, if he stays, if he has legs, if he gets popular enough,
right,
that becomes his arch enemy. That would, I don't know. I just love that. The Signal versus Signal Man. How weird is that?
Yeah.
So, because I didn't forget plot device. This character wasn't a plot device. A plot device is introducing a character at the very beginning of your story that has a very specific power. He can throw up anything in the universe as long as it's for a good cause.
Like Superman.
Huh?
I said, like Superman.
Well, not even Superman at least can be like, oh, well, I can't apply just raw superhuman strength to this situation. This guy's going to be like, oh, I can just, since I'm trying to save that lady's life, I can roll up a fire truck or whatever. That's a little bit of an exaggeration.
Right.
Or, you know what I'm saying? So this guy literally shows up, does nothing the entire series until right at the end where they're like, oh, we've written ourselves into a corner. Hey, let's have this guy throw up the Deus Ex Machina that we need. And he just vomits up a shard of the Cosmic Cube. That's literally what happened in Secret War, or Secret Empire that just came out. They literally introduced this Inhuman just because they need him at the end. That's not how you write a story.
Oh.
Not when you just, we just happen to introduce Jesus and we need to heal the blind.
And to swing off of that remark about the Inhumans, I think you just shared an article on Facebook, didn't you?
We don't have it in our notes.
We're not going to talk. We're not going to talk about it. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead and you say it, because
I was going to say we're not going to talk about it for long. But apparently, the Inhumans looks as cheap, or was as cheap as it looks, as far as recording of the episodes.
Yeah. So it seems like they just put a stamp on it and rushed it out without saying, "Hey, these are actually beloved characters. Maybe we should do right by them." And maybe we should understand how their powers work.
They are. Unfortunately, this is signaling to me that Marvel is now phoning it in like DC, at least in this aspect for this show.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe they didn't. Maybe they underestimated the amount of money they were going to have to spend on the Inhumans, which is kind of amazing considering the fact that one of them's a giant freaking dog that can teleport.
They absolutely did not think the Inhumans through. The Inhumans live on a moon base. Each of them have at least superhuman strength.
Right.
And invulnerability, and don't have to breathe. So they do hang. It's not like, oh, well, we can only stay in this dome on the moon that looks conveniently like an average New York apartment.
Right.
They could actually go out and hang out on the moon. And when you have a main character that cannot talk at all, or he will destroy everything around him, it's hard to write for him. Especially when you're not going to have his wife there by his side all the time who translates for him.
It's safe to say he doesn't have a lot of lines.
No, he doesn't. and that's the other thing that messes with me. Medusa is so cool. Her powers, yes, she controls her hair, but she can grow it as long as she wants. Right. And it's as strong as steel. Each thread is as strong as steel, at least. There's no reason anybody should be able to touch her if she didn't want to be touched, unless there's an Inhuman that they just introduced that could shut down her powers long enough to put like a restraining collar on her, like they do in the X-Men.
Right.
Literally, she should not be touched unless she wanted to be touched. Because I think her hair, I don't know, but her hair might even attack and defend her if she's not conscious and stuff. I don't know if that's her though. There's some characters that are like that.
I got you. All right, well let's move on to the movies because I'm excited about the couple of articles we got, because one of them's been a big contention point, and the other we have an additional note to add to that obviously didn't make it to the notes. So here comes the movies. Exciting Marvel news. We know what Cable looks like for Deadpool now, and yes, he's using a vector. Seems to be a big sticking point for everybody. They are man-stopper rounds, though. I mean, it does shoot a 45 round. So
remember, he's from the future. He uses scientifically futuristic. Like people are complaining about the rounds he has carrying. Like for real, he's from the future. Those could be like plasma cartridges.
Right. Right, you
I don't
don't
want
know.
to hear any of our military buddies say, "Oh, well, that's not realistic. Why would he be carrying those around?" No, he's from the future.
It might look like a Chris Vector, but it also has a grenade launcher mounted underneath, which I don't think anybody actually thought to do.
Again, it might look like one.
Right.
You got to remember, this guy had a motorcycle that the headlights came off and were a massive laser. Okay? Albeit he didn't get to use it because the Hulk took it and crushed it. But he's literally got weapons that look like, it's like the artist said, I need to draw a laser weapon. Oh, I'm going to draw this part and I'm going to stick a handle on it.
Yeah.
I can pull tons of examples. So that's why I try not to go with like, oh, well, it's not realistic, because if he was like some other character, like if Captain America was decked out that stuff, then I'd have to call shenanigans. But they could literally say, oh, well, yeah, it looks like that, but it's energy cartridges or sonic bombs or something. Whatever.
I have
anyway.
questions.
Huh?
Why does he have a teddy bear on his hip?
Why does he have a teddy bear on his hip? Because probably Deadpool gave him a teddy bear bomb. I don't know.
Oh, great. I think he looks pretty good. I mean, from what I remember from the old X-Men cartoons. I know that's not really a great reference, but No,
that's a good reference because they were extremely comic accurate in their art style for the time. I mean, if you're talking about the 90s version.
Yeah.
So, yes. Yeah. This is kind of a nitpick in the grand scheme of things, but he still doesn't look buff enough to me. His head just looks too big for his body now. He's slimmed down. So, But, I mean, if they put him, like, more padding, like in the 90s X-Men, they'll make him look bigger.
Or like Thanos.
Well, he can't look like Colossus or Thanos, obviously.
No,
but,
I know.
I get what you're saying. And the thing is, the slim art style, or his slim look could work for him if he was doing like the whole Messiah type, like in the Cable and Deadpool arcs, if you remember.
That was probably one of the best comics I've ever read, by the way.
Oh my goodness, it's good. If you can find them, they should still be printed in collections, so you should totally go out and grab them. But no, so obviously they're doing the Warforged badass Cable. Here's my thing. They worked really hard to make him comic book accurate. Why couldn't they do that with Domino?
And sadly, that's where our extra note comes in that we didn't put in there. The stunt woman, I found out later, the stunt woman who was doing the motorcycle stunt for Domino's character.
Oh yeah, I read about this. This was
during one of the stunts, and she was one of the first African American female race car drivers as well.
Oh wow!
So it's very accomplished, and sad to see her have such an ending. But I mean, I'm sure the stunts were better for what she did, what she provided for that character, for what she could do.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to. I mean, accidents happen. Somebody died on the Walking Dead set.
Yeah.
A stuntman, because literally their enemies only walk.
Yeah.
Freak accidents happen all the time, and that's the kind of job that is, which is extremely unfortunate.
Right.
Nobody wants that to happen. So, that kind of brings down this whole thing. But
sorry. I figured it was worth noting.
And this is from last week, or earlier this week that happened.
Right.
So I know that production's shut down, at least temporarily.
Right.
But I'm sure that they're. I don't know. What can you do for that? Oh,
yeah.
Well, her funeral and the insurance paid out for them, but yeah, okay.
Yeah,
but the family still lost somebody. Like, there's all the appearances of Ryan Reynolds and whatever aren't going to make that go away. But hopefully she died doing what she loved, and it wasn't just to put food on the table.
Yeah.
If she was passionate about it, then, and considering her background,
right,
I don't think she would have the regrets. Like, out of all the ways to go,
Right.
I mean, I remember reading a story where an old lady had a banana fall on her foot, and it caused some kind of cardiac reaction to her, and it killed. I'd rather go out doing a badass motorcycle stunt, I think. Personally, I'd actually like to live forever, but I'm greedy and selfish.
Right.
So anyway, let's go back to the whole.
Yeah, I think the outfit looks good. It does look pretty good. And I know you have your gripes about Domino, but they make changes like this all the time just to.
It's just like they went so far out of their way to get the Russian accent for Colossus. They flew a guy in for one night of recording from Russia, just for that, and then flew him back so he could go do like Russian Broadway or whatever he was doing.
Oh, really? Great.
So when you do something like that, then it's like, well, why did you do this for Domino? If they were like changing everything, well, then I could kind of understand it a little bit better. But we've seen what happens when you let just them change whatever they want. You get Baraka Pool from Wolverine Origins.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm still confident this movie's going to be good. I really want to. Here's the thing, though. With again, Deadpool, even though he's muscular, he's still supposed to be relatively sleek, and Cable is supposed to be the bulky one. Ryan Reynolds is like 6'2" or 6'1". Yeah. They had to hire somebody proportionally, like at least a couple of inches bigger, or make him look bigger. So that's what they made a 6 foot something guy look like a dwarf for Lord of the Rings. So it's possible. Movie magic. But it's just you gotta consider that kind of stuff when you cast. Like that's the reason they got Michael Clark Duncan from Kingpin with the original Daredevils, because Ben Affleck was 6 foot. And he's literally the only guy acting in Hollywood that would dwarf him.
Josh Brolin must have got his mom's genes, because his dad was 6'4" and he's only 5'10". I'm taller than Josh Brolin is.
He's taller than me. I'm 5'10" in heels.
So I guess we'll see how it turns out. It does look like it'll be good.
It's
Deadpool.
What movies were he in?
Who?
Josh Brolin.
As far back as Goonies, he was in. What was that one?
I'm thinking like what recent. What has he played to play off? If he was getting Goonies, then he could play the ridiculousness of that would be Deadpool's world. I mean, since you've read this comic, you know how they interact. Where
at one point, Deadpool ended up. I said at one point, Deadpool was a puddle of goo.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but like from the dialogue, how they play off each other. Like Cable has to be like the straight man to Deadpool's antics, and sometimes he gets in it a little bit on the zaniness.
Yeah.
So, anyways, well, overall, aside from his head looking big and stuff, he does look really good. The eye looks really good. I like the battle scars on him. So, I don't know. I have confidence in it. I want to see just like a teaser trailer of those two interacting.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Can't wait for that stuff. So, all right. Now, you covered this next article in what they put in there. But this next article is the Disney is dumping Netflix, and I don't think this article did really good at covering it from reading the notes from what you pulled from it. Disney didn't like cut off the whole deal. They just are not going to renew the
contract. Yes,
the Disney and Pixar films.
Yeah. Well, you see down there that last line that says once the deal expires in 2019.
Yeah.
So, but I needed a clickbait title.
Oh, God.
A clickbait title in the middle of the podcast, so they ignored the rest of the podcast, but they're saying, "Oh, dumping Netflix? Now I'm going to listen."
So, and that's why I wanted to diffuse it a little, because everybody's freaking out about it.
Another thing. Sorry to cut you off. I pulled this article when the freakout was first happening. Then after the fact, they're like, "Oh well, Netflix is trying to negotiate a little bit more. They're not violating their contract." Because personally, if it was me and I was signing a contract with Disney, I would put a clause in there: if you cancel this contract prematurely, you're paying me out a couple billion.
Yeah,
because they can afford it.
So they're not losing anything right now. When the contract drops, apparently it will not affect any of the Marvel or Lucasfilm items, which means that Netflix probably will remain the home for Marvel videos and for Star Wars and eventually Indiana Jones when it comes back again. They're all gonna continue to stay on Netflix. The deal was the Pixar movies, so like Moana, Monsters Inc., Toy Story, stuff like that. That stuff will end up coming off because Disney is now starting their own service as well. And there's been a lot of talk about that because Disney. If anybody can do it, Disney can. They're the one that could easily pull this off because they have draw for all ages. The animated grabs the adults as well as the kids, but also the other titles. But in light of more news, Star Wars and Star Wars and any of the Marvel stuff are still staying on Netflix. It's not going to do anything to the deals they have with all the live action Marvel films or Marvel TV shows that we have. So we're still going to see, they're already freaking still planning ahead for all the other series that they're continuing to do. We will get the Punisher this fall, thank God. But it's I don't even want to give weight to this freaking article because it's 90% garbage anyways.
Well, here's my thing is I own most of the Disney products that I want. I own most of the movies, I own most of the shows. I've got a lot of them on stuff like Vudu or YouTube, when you can type in the code. Netflix, I see Moana on there or whatever, and I'm like, oh, well, I want to watch that right now, so I don't have to go to my basement and go get the Blu-ray.
Right.
Why would I pay
Disney and more?
Disney another monthly fee for stuff I already own?
So here's the thing. So Disney... Now you may say that, but there are other people that are going to be a little less.
There's always going to be like the Disney fanatics and stuff like that are going to do no matter what. I mean, CBS has had their actors come out and say we literally do not care about the Star Trek fans, and they still believe people are going to pay $6.95 a month, $7, $8 a month just to see Star Trek.
And that was my point. That was what I was going to circle to because Disney can do it, CBS cannot. CBS, there is no way that is going to be successful. What is it? Today is August 18th, 2017. I guarantee you at some point CBS's app will fold or will get cheaper or go free or they will strike a deal with Netflix and put Star Trek Discovery on Netflix.
Here's the thing. You're not making an outrageous claim there. You're not...
No, I know. It's everybody's saying
I mean... You have I believe there's a less chance of the sun rising tomorrow than CBS's little plan to survive because they literally have one show that they're banking everything on. They're banking on Star Trek.
They think they have one show. The jury's still out on it. Nobody knows if it's going to be any good.
Again, they think they have one show. They're banking. Well, first of all, they're banking everything on one show. They're banking it on the Star Trek. Most people I've talked to that are Star Trek fans are not interested in it because, again, they're like, oh, yeah, we're throwing away the entire lore. First of all, people love their canon. People love their canon. They say they're not taking anything from it, which is different than Disney.
You think comic book fans are bad? TV show fans are freaking rabid. Rabid.
Oh, Star Trek fans.
Oh,
Star Trek, Star Wars fans. We covered it. I mean, at the very least, when Disney said, yeah, we're getting rid of the expanded universe, but we're going to be pulling stuff from there. We're going to pull the stuff we like.
Our argument yesterday.
Huh? No,
I said our argument
we've discussed this before. I was just trying to get your goat the other day.
Yeah.
Because I knew that'd piss you off.
You know what? I threw my phone down and I said, Mitch is being an asshole again.
I was doing it on purpose because I love you. But, I don't get you that much, so I have to get you when I can. Or at least you're better at hiding it, I should say. Anyways, but the thing is, yes, there's going to be those people out there that are going to be willing to buy it, pay for it again, but I own Darkwing Duck on DVD. I own DuckTales. I own most of the movies that I want. Or if I don't want them, or if I do want them, I can go out and buy them.
Right,
That's
right.
and most of those movies are probably $5 right now.
Right.
And again, I've got, if I want to pop it up on my TV upstairs, I can open up Vudu and watch it for free.
Right, right.
Than paying Disney. Now, so unless they make some kind of new original show for there.
There's going to be a breaking point for all these services and everything to the point where people start, because they're already getting to the point, if you want all the stuff that you watched on cable, your internet bill as far as services are concerned is probably as high as regular cable now, which sucks. Oh, yeah. It sucks because everybody wants a piece of the pie, and well, we asked for this.
Basically, what they're doing is they're dragging themselves towards a crash.
Yeah,
it's going to be this subscription crash. Nobody's going to want it anymore, and I don't know. We'll see the rise of Blockbuster from the ashes or something. Something insane.
I want to be the first one to say that Demolition Man had it wrong. They had the wrong franchise war. It's going to be between Netflix and Hulu, with a little side of HBO.
But see, HBO, now they have like 30 or 40 years of shows that I don't know if they've even put out all their shows on Go.
Not all of them, no. And you know, there is a good remark in here. It says this isn't good news for Netflix, who is already about $20 billion in the hole. Plus, they just took a huge loan to fund more shows and the purchase of an animated studio, right? Wasn't that it?
I think so. I think they.
Jay Dickens, long live Taco Bell. Amen, brother. Amen. Yeah. They. Which one did they purchase? Because Disney just purchased one too, right?
I don't know if Disney purchased one.
Who bought BAM? Isn't that an animated studio?
Maybe.
Let me see.
I'm not sure.
Let me see if it was Disney. Disney buys. Oh, that's never mind. My bad. Disney bought a $1 billion stake in MLB's BAM Tech, which is what they're going to use to launch the ESPN service and the Disney Pixar streaming stuff. So they bought a $1 billion stake in the company that makes these services for most of these other companies like HBO, and are going to use them to do their own stuff too.
Yeah. So either way, they're going to get paid then.
Yeah. They're getting paid.
They've set themselves up to get paid for themselves until somebody goes and makes another one, and then Disney's probably going to buy a stake in that too. But
Netflix did buy it. Oh, Netflix. I'm trying to see. They just bought somebody. Huh.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but again,
yes, okay.
The stuff is fleshed out for them a little bit, but Netflix is hurting for cash right now, and I'm expecting. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a raise in bills soon for that.
You know what? Netflix is one of the more expensive ones. I don't think we'll see it in Netflix. I see Hulu raising their prices. HBO, well, HBO's at 15 as well, so.
I'm not paying for
HBO.
I'm going to use. I got Amazon Prime, and I'm going to use that 7-day free trial eventually to watch Westworld, unless it comes out on Blu-ray first.
Oh, you got to watch that, dude. You're.
I've been wanting to watch it.
Seriously, you wanted a show to do a TV or to do about a TV show, that probably would have been the best one. But there's so many people that have done it because it's such a popular show. So, all right. Well, why don't we? Since we didn't even talk about the article, why don't we just go ahead and skip to the games?
The thing is, it was an old one.
Yeah.
But we covered all the bases that the contract's going to be more or less ending. In 2019, they've in talks to keep some of the movies past that. They're in talks and confirmed that they're going to keep the Marvel IPs that they've been working on.
Yeah, Disney has stated they want to keep a contract that keeps Netflix with the Marvel and the Lucasfilm movies.
Because I think that they see that, well, one, Netflix has done those very well.
Yeah.
And two, I don't know, maybe because it would be seen as bad PR in a way.
I mean,
I don't know. Disney does worry about their image a lot.
I think Disney's trying to not put all their
Eggs in one basket.
Eggs in one basket. Thank you.
So because that means they've still got an anchor into Netflix. One, they still get money from Netflix, but two, if their Disney Now fails, they can always come crawling back to Netflix, and Netflix will take them because everybody's going to always want to watch a Disney movie.
All right,
you put on a Disney movie, nobody's going to say, I don't want to watch Disney.
Yeah. And to respond to that, too, Jay Dickens, the pirate thing, did you know that the first episode of Game of Thrones was pirated over 90 million times?
No, wait, even better. Episode 6 leaked, and who leaked it? Who leaked it, Jeremy?
HBO leaked it.
HBO leaked it.
They leaked their own stuff. They pulled a fast one. They pulled a CD Projekt Red on the world with their next episode, and I haven't watched it yet. I'm waiting till Sunday night to watch it with the normal people. All right, let's get into the games here. We got a bunch of stuff in here, and a short time to get there. God, I love that song. Kids, ask your parents. All right, first thing we've got here, kind of sad news.
The theme song or the song that you wanted to sing?
Yeah, the one I was talking about.
Both?
Eastbound and Down.
Loaded Up and Trucking?
Yeah.
We're going to have a duet here, folks.
All right. Ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm focused.
Middle-earth Shadow of War. This is probably the most disappointing thing for me. However, it's a single-player game, so I don't need to spend the money. But Middle-earth Shadow of War will have pay-to-win features. Players can purchase loot chests, war chests, and XP boosts and bundles. So it's kind of like turned it into a single-player version of Battlefield. Loot chests will have the players finding weapons and armor as well as XP boosts to make your character level up quicker. Which I don't know why you'd want to do that if you're paying $60 for the game and then paying them more money. War chests will contain new orc followers that will help you strengthen your army, as well as training orders, which let you level them up and customize them as well, your orcs. And the bundles will include a combination of loot chests, war chests, and XP boosts together as a package deal. So there'll be a way to get those kind of cheaper if you don't really specifically need a certain type, if that's what you want. And I don't really agree with it. I think it's unnecessary, but if they think that that's a sustainable thing, like I said, it's not really required. You're going to be able to get the stuff eventually anyways, unless they screw you over and make those things really hard to get, and the only way you can get them is through those boxes. Then it's like, well, am I spending $60 on your game, or am I spending tons more? So, and I'm not really one to spend tons more. One of my favorite games is Rainbow Six, and all the expansions are free. If you bought the season pass, you just get them a week earlier and get some in-game cash for skins and stuff, which don't affect the main gameplay. So, these items can be acquired by spending Mirian, an in-game currency that you can find in stashes while playing the game, which means you can also get them through the game as well. You can also acquire Mirian by taking down treasure orcs and destroying gear. So, players will also have the option of purchasing gold, Shadow of War's other in-game currency, which you can use which you can get by spending real money, because, of course you can. Like I said, if they think it's a sustainable model, do it. But it's
here's the thing. I'm sorry for cutting.
No, you're fine.
I've been saying this a lot, but I'm cutting you off. This is like you said. This is more or less a single player game.
Right. It'll be $5 in 2 years.
Paying for the game to play itself.
Right.
Why not just watch it? Listen, me and Jeremy are probably going to get this. You can watch us stream it.
I loved the first one.
The first one is great, and I bought it. Or I got it for free actually because of Xbox Gold or whatever. And I was like, oh, this is probably going to be some kind of overhyped Assassin's Creed crap. But no, it is good, and it's so diverse. So I'm absolutely amped for this. But like, okay, in WoW, which I'm very critical of WoW, but I can understand. Hey, I want to spend my real hard-earned money on that horse mount because it looks cool.
Right.
But or I want that rare weapon, which they don't let you buy, like legendary weapons that can obliterate anybody. in WoW.
Right.
It's just cosmetic. This is like, okay, well, I could train this orc, and then I could be proud of the accomplishments of what I did and the time I invested into my hobby, or I could just pay it to automatically level up and go do everything.
I have a assumption on the reason why this works as well, because people don't have tons of time to play video games, or they want to go play their other favorite video game, and they don't want to spend the time playing what they spent money on, which really sucks for us, because, you know, if they lock things like that behind gates, which they also said you can get, for completing specific milestones, you'll also earn gold. So there'll be ways
putting that in there, and that's why I didn't just swear off this game.
Yeah.
But it just makes me wonder if they're going to make the gold you get. They're going to, every time you get gold, they're going to be like, hey, they're going to pop up this thing. Hey, you could just buy this. Just like every time in like Dead Space 2, like anytime you went to buy just, just went to the main shop and use your credits or whatever, it was like, hey, you could use real money here. It was like, I don't remember if it was that one or Dead Space 3 or whatever, but it seemed like that popped up every time you went to like level up your gear or purchase the next set of armor so you could go level it up. I'm like, really, guys? First, you're taking me out of the game by flashing a real dollar sign up there.
Yeah.
And asking for my credit card information. Yeah. I'm not.
No, I hear you.
Again, for another thing, we're talking about people not having time. If this was like a real-time strategy type of game, like a Civilization or I don't know, in a way, StarCraft, if you needed another example. Civilization is the best thing I could think of off the top of my head. Then maybe I can understand, hey, you can pay money to speed this up a little bit, because Civilization, how many hours can one session be for that, It's a slow game, at least to me. Not a bad game, don't get me wrong, but it's slow.
Right.
It's one of those games you sit down and you're like, okay, I've got all day, I'm going to just chill and play this, as opposed to whatever. Well, hello.
All right, well, let's get into the other part of your intro, the everybody's getting sued. We should have probably put those two together and then put the other one last, but... All right, so Disney is being sued for allegedly spying on kids. Look, I found a neat little picture for it, too.
Uh-oh.
The Walt Disney Company secretly collects personal information on...
some of their youngest customers and shares that data illegally with advertisers without parental consent, according to a federal lawsuit filed late last week, which would have been about 2 weeks ago, in California. The class action suit targets Disney and 3 other software companies, Upside, Unity, and Kochava, alleging that the mobile apps they built together violate the law by gathering insights about app users across the internet, including those under the age of 13, in ways that facilitate commercial exploitation. That's in quotations. The plaintiffs argue that Disney and its partners violated COPPA, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, the federal law designed to protect the privacy of children on the web. The lawsuit, filed in U.S. District Court for the District of Northern California, seeks a injunction barring the companies from collecting and disclosing the data without parental consent, as well as punitive damages and legal fees. Whew. The lawsuit alleges... I'm sorry, I'll just finish this one because you did all of the other ones.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
The lawsuit alleges that Disney allowed the software companies to embed trackers in apps such as Disney Princess Palace Pets and Where's My Water 2. Where's My Water? Have you heard of that one?
It's the alligator one.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, the kids like that one. Yeah, my kids played that before.
Well, maybe you're entitled to some compensation.
All right.
Once installed, tracking software can then exfiltrate that information off the smart device for advertising and other commercial purposes, according to the suit. Disney has said the lawsuit is misguided and intends to defend it in court. Disney has a robust COPPA compliance program, and we maintain strict data collection and use policies for Disney apps created for children and families, the company said in a statement on last Monday, I think. The complaint is based on a fundamental misunderstanding of COPPA principles, and we look forward to defending this in action in court. According to the Federal Trade Commission, online services that target users under the age of 13 should display a privacy policy that is plain to read and easy to understand. The policy must state the kind of information being collected and what the services might do with the data. Directions on how parents can give their consent should also be included. This is not the first time Disney has faced litigation over alleged COPPA violations. In 2011, FTC penalized a company subsidiary, Playdom, for $3 million after Playdom was found to have registered about 1.2 million users, most of them children, for online games. The FTC's lawsuit said Disney collected children's email addresses and ages and allowed them to volunteer information such as their full names, instant messenger handles, and physical locations as part of their online profiles. Oh, their physical locations! Come on now. Many of Disney's gaming apps are immensely popular. According to the Google Play Store, Where's My Water 2, that name, has been installed between 100 million and 500 million times. Moana Island Life, you would think it would be like Moana's Island Life or whatever, has been installed between 1 and 5 million times. And in another measure of the company's online success, Disney Princess Palace Pets has been reviewed more than 6,000 times by iOS users.
Man, I could go for 6,000 reviews right now.
I'd be happy with 6 reviews. The class action suit was filed on behalf of a San Francisco woman named Amanda Rushing and her child, LL. Because she's under a certain age, she can't give her name. As a class action, the case also seeks to represent consumers in 35 states.
Wow. Oops.
Wow. Woo!
Yeah, that's rough.
What are your thoughts on this?
Kids'
you have
games.
Children that play online. You have kids that have played some of these apps.
My kids
so
listen.
You have better insight than me.
My daughter has played the Princess Palace Pets before.
Mm-hmm.
That there's no place. It's bad enough that us adults are bombarded with all this advertisement crap, but I don't need my kids getting that information out there too. We've had to yell at my son multiple times because he thought it was okay to give out his phone number, and that happens to be my phone number. So we've had talks with our kids because things have arisen because the world sucks, I guess. Now I listen to my son complain about how he either died to lag or because the other player was a hacker. So he's grown up a little bit. He's almost to my level. But anyways, I don't know. I really think that they shouldn't be targeting kids. And I mean, they say they aren't, but if the app does a different thing, then,
First of all, what 30-year-old is downloading Disney's Princess Palace Pets? No matter what, they're targeting kids.
Responsible adults that actually review what their children are doing are the ones that are going to notice this. And this probably happens to be that situation.
It very well could be. The other thing that bothers me is that when they say it has to be easy to read, as in, that makes me wonder, is it from a child's level, like a 5th grade level, like how the Army operates, or, like the average person, the average parent that doesn't understand how the internet works or how online gaming works, hey, this is going to collect this kind of data from your device. Are you cool with that? Is it written in that kind of obvious?
And there's no way kids can make that decision and shouldn't be allowed to make that decision. It should have something that requires, like some things, like making Xbox accounts for my kids. I had to spend $1 that was verifying that an adult actually made the account, and it went to charity afterwards, which I'm fine with. But I'm also fine with the fact that it asked for that because it makes it so a kid can't just create and put all that information out on the internet on their own.
Right.
So unless they know how to use my credit card, which then I'm screwed. But
there's a lot of kids that know how to use credit cards. We've covered articles where the guy get racked with like a $5,000 bill because the kid had access to their credit cards.
Including that guy that worked for the International Bank.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The FIFA purchases. So I strongly agree that those types of things should be in there. They shouldn't be collecting them from the kids in the first place. It's a kids game. What do you need that information for? You know who your target audience is.
Exactly. So. You've been targeting that same audience for 40 or 50 years, Disney. I think you know it by now.
Right.
What more do you need? No. Or the kid that spent his mom's paycheck on a 360?
Oh, God.
Oh.
That's rough.
Oh, my goodness. I don't know what I'd do.
All right. The next thing we got, I thank you for the applause there. I see that. Or you got something else?
Now the reason I did this is because I didn't want to have to do two negative stories back to back. I wanted something remotely positive. It's it's a reverse compliment sandwich, like Stewie says.
Yeah, there you go. Paris 2024 Olympics are considering esports for a medal event. I think this is a cash grab. The Olympics knows that people spend tons of money on video games every year, and people spend tons of money watching video games every year. The International, a dead kid there. The International, or not the International, is it the International? The Dota 2 tournament is fully funded by players purchasing in-game stuff. That's where they get all their money for the prize purses, and that's why
that's really impressive.
Yeah, for the amount of money that they hand out in purses for the championship, it's pretty impressive. I think the Olympics wants a cut. You know what I mean? They want to get in on something, and they know people are doing it. The problem is the fact that how does it fit into being a physical sport, which the Olympics has traditionally been.
Well, there's still physicality in there. There's reaction times, and not really endurance. Not like the way we normally think. Oh, is that guy going to stand there for 20 hours or whatever? But, there's still some physicality in there. There's intellect in there. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Are any other kind of games, like is chess an Olympic sport? That kind of stuff.
Now, Spartacus made a good point too. It'd be one of the most viewed sports if they did, because there's plenty of us people that play games that watch.
First of all, it's going to be one of the most viewed sports, anyways. Because one, you got it on the Olympics. Two, it'd be the first time ever the Olympics did this, so it's going to be viewed a lot.
It'll actually
be considered a momentous occasion. But you're right. I'm not disagreeing with Spartacus at all.
Yeah. No, I got you. Competitive video games generated about $520 million in revenue in 2016. Has a global audience of about 320 million, and will be included in the 2022 Asian Games. We have to look at it because we can't say it's not about Olympics. Paris 2024
about as physical as rifle shooting, yeah.
Right. Tony Estangue said. You like that?
Close enough.
I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it.
Istanbul? I don't know.
Estangue. The youth are interested, so let's meet them, he told the AP news agency. I think it's interesting to interact with the IOC and the esports family to better understand what the process is and why it is such a success. And it really is. Yeah, it's about as physical as just rifle shooting, but you throw in the what's the biathlon, right? That's the shooting in cross country.
Yeah, no, thank you. Okay.
Paris hosting of the 2024 games and Los Angeles in 2028 is set to officially be ratified by the IOC Congress in Lima, Peru in September. In 2024 the 2024 program will start to be shaped in 2019, and decisions on what sports will be added will be taken after the 2020 games in Tokyo. Which they're really missing out. They should be doing a video game tournament there.
You would think. Tokyo is like the mecca for video games.
We will spend some time after Lima to engage the new people and stakeholders, Estangue said. The IOC will have the last say if they want esports on the program. Let's discuss among ourselves. So they're gonna seriously consider it, and I think they'd be stupid to pass on it, honestly.
Well, yes. Yes, it can be physical. I mean, you're not going to look like an Adonis, obviously.
You don't get carpal tunnel from doing
we do, obviously. we are pinnacles of human evolution, of course.
Right.
But the average person.
You mean if we're working towards like Wally?
Well, okay, so
give me my floating hover chair.
Here's the thing, and I saw somebody point this out on Facebook. Is they're like, yeah, well, there's these kids that train all their lives to be gymnasts or weightlifters or good at judo and stuff to get into the Olympics. I'm like, we train all of our lives to be good at these video games just so we can roll it in the face of our friend. Oh, you couldn't make that jump in Mario?
Yeah.
Oh, you let that sniper take you out? Okay, let me show you how it's done.
Right.
So, like, we already do that for free, you know? And at the very least, we have a better chance of not being physically mutated too much. You know, yeah, that's kind of mean, but, you know, they say, like, they have to keep the girls small and petite or whatever. At least, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't watch the Olympics, people. Do I look like I watch the Olympics? I sometimes watch the Olympics.
Skinny Eastern European chicks dancing around on gymnast equipment.
I don't know. I don't know. They do stuff? I don't know. What do they do? I hear stuff like that.
Yeah, no, they do. Like, if you
like,
look at
like child actors, they used to make them like sleep in drawers to try to keep them from growing too much.
Serious? Okay.
Hopefully not that bad. I mean,
Jeez.
Well, you know, singers, opera singers, or whatever, for the boys, they used to snip them, so their voices wouldn't change.
This conversation just went in a whole different direction.
It's history. We're discussing history. This is good for the kids.
Yeah, there you go. So,
but yeah, I agree with you. I think this could be good, depending on what games would you like to see? Would you know, if they had to pick one like esport game?
I don't know. I mean, League of Legends is the biggest MOBA, and either Overwatch or that stupid freaking simple game, freaking Counter-Strike, something like that for a shooter. I don't know, honestly. But maybe Quake Arena makes a big, huge impact and becomes a huge esport by then.
I mean,
I'd love to see.
Obviously, they've got time. This is 2024 we're talking about.
I'd love to see Rainbow Six. I mean, there are so many different ones that I could pick from.
Would you?
Not Warcraft.
Think they would do like individual and then team, or would this
individual?
Be a
okay, individual solo drop battlegrounds. No.
That's what I was trying to lead you to, actually.
Teams, any of the team games, like I said, Rainbow Six, Overwatch, not Team Fortress.
I'm asking, do you think they would, if they had to pick one, would you think they would go for a team thing or like an individual thing?
It'd probably be a team thing, honestly. I don't know about individual efforts. A lot harder to measure. So. At least for online games.
Either way, there's a clear winner and a clear loser, you know?
Yeah.
With this kind of stuff. It's not, you know, with these...
It really would, Adam. It's the impossible decision, and that's why it doesn't look so great for it, you know? Overwatch is making a huge leap and bound by having established teams in a league.
Well, is it going to be Overwatch might be there because they are trying to establish these teams, but some of these games, are they going to be there in 7 years? You know, are they going to be at that level? Or are we going to be like, okay, we'll start with Super Mario Brothers 1, whoever can, no warps.
Warps.
That's like the performance enhancing drugs for them, right? No.
Well, this past summer they had the summer what do they call it on Twitch? It was everybody doing speed runs through stuff though, without glitching. There was competitions listed under glitching and non-glitching, and if you glitched, you were disqualified from the non-glitch category and stuff like that. So there are things they could do, but those things are more well suited for things that just involve video games because my parents don't want to watch somebody speed run through Sonic the Hedgehog. And they have to think about the audience as a whole, not just one demographic.
Right. So, yeah. Well, you know, here's the thing. That's the good thing about the Olympics is like, oh, well, I don't care about the swimming. I care about the running. I don't watch the swing, but they got the running, so they could potentially play 2 or 3 different games. The choice of platform would be hard as well.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is that that's such a. I mean, the Rainbow Six tournaments.
Well, they could do multiple platforms. They could say, okay, well, this is the, this is the console, this is the PC, or whatever. That's
what I was getting to. The Rainbow Six Invitationals all have all 3 consoles, or all 3 formats, the 2 consoles and the PC. So they're all competing in something they know instead of having to adapt. So because that is harder than it seems. Going either way, people have hard times adapting. Someone to play. Got a buddy that recently started playing with. He always played on console and is trying to get adjusted to playing first-person shooters, and even Battlegrounds is a little bit of a difficulty playing with the keyboard and mouse because he's never really played too many video games on the computer before. So
yeah, you're absolutely right, because I'm trying to do the same thing. That's why I'm stick with one. I'm using a controller still, and 2, that's why I stick with like just the side scrolls like Rogue Legacy or Darkest Dungeon or the Disney Afternoon Collection like I started today.
No Man's Sky is the best served on the console controllers. I have to play with the controller.
I thought you were going to say an insult there. I was prepared for
no.
But so I mean, there's tons of different things they can do. The possibilities are there, and unlike stuff like the synchronized swimming or the performance arts sports, these have a clear winner and loser.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As opposed to,
being judged.
I don't like the way he pointed his toes. Oh, I thought it was amazing. So he gets an extra point from me. He gets 2 less points from this person.
It takes away the interpretation to a solid win or lose value. Yeah.
Well, I do like my numbers in that way. You see how I categorize things. So I don't do that whole open. I try not to. I like to have black and white with that.
Yeah, I got you.
If that makes sense.
All right. Well, let's hit our last thing here so we can get out of here. Nintendo being sued over the Switch design. Maker of paired game controllers for mobile devices is suing Nintendo over the design of detachable Joy-Con controllers for the Switch console. I don't understand this. I feel like this is a patent troll. Do you know that we're still working on good graces at this point doing podcasts because somebody keeps trying to copyright the word podcast, so every time we use the word we'd have to pay them. Anyways, the suit filed on Wednesday in California alleges Nintendo infringed on patents first filed in 2012 by WikiPed Inc., now known as GameVice.
Now, here's the thing with those are kind of apples and oranges. A device, you haven't if replicating a device and copyrighting a slang word, there was somebody that tried to copyright. I don't know, it wasn't but like superheroes.
Yeah,
superheroes written capital S space capital H is a co-owned copyright of DC and Marvel. Did you know that?
Even worse, what about Comic-Con, remember?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's another perfect example. You're not supposed to use Comic-Con in that format that New York Comic-Con uses, or San Diego Comic-Con. Which one is it?
Yeah.
Or is it the
I think it was San Diego. But copyrighting certain words, like I understand copyrighting the word like Spider-Man or Superman, that's like a name.
Yeah. But
something that's slang, I'm going to this Comic-Con. This backwoods Comic-Con in some library that nobody knows about. Well, I'm suing that there's 15 people that are going to show up. As opposed to, they literally took our device apart, slapped onto Nintendo. And again, this is alleged because we haven't finished reading this.
Right.
And then said it's their thing. The 2 totally different things to me. But let's continue with this.
The patent describes a pair of control modules attached to a separate and distinct computing device, i.e. tablet. The idea was the basis of the WikiPad, an Android gaming tablet with detachable controllers that was released in 2013. The device received mixed reviews and is no longer on the market. I have never heard of this device in my life.
Never.
So I'm going to have to look it up. But in addition to seeking damages, GameVice, which is even worse, is because now they're using something that's not being used anymore, even though I know patent crap. But shouldn't the patent office have, like, doled out something about that?
Well,
shouldn't they know? I mean, I know there's tons of patents.
The patent was made in Japan. How does that translate across the sea to America?
Yeah.
Like, is there there's not an international copyright company because you have to sue them on the behalf of one.
Oh, Mitch, this is a treasure, dude. This thing looks like a piece of hot garbage. I'm gonna put a picture in the chat, but this thing is not exactly what they were showing here. There we go. There's a picture. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah.
That's not even. Hold on. First of all, let's stop here. That's not even paired controllers. That is one controller.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is you turn this upside down and put this on top of it.
Yeah.
This is not two things. This is not two things. That is a keyboard connector for a tablet. You remember when the phones you could connect they have the little keypad here that you could connect to the controller so you could text people while playing some stupid online game. That's exactly what that is. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. In addition to seeking damages, GameVice wants Nintendo to halt sales of the Switch, claiming the Switch has caused and is continuing to cause damage and irreparable injury to GameVice. GameVice no longer produces that terminal.
Is GameVice even a company as a whole?
Apparently it still is if they're claiming a patent. GameVice claims claim of harm would be central to any decision to halt Switch sales. While the WikiPad is no longer around to compete with the Switch, GameVice is now focused on making peripheral game controllers for phones and tablets, which don't have an input device like that anyways. I lost my place again. And there's at least an argument that the Switch is competing with those devices. Still, not really.
First of all, no, wait. They're doing it for mobile games and tablets?
Yeah.
Mobile devices?
Yeah, because they're probably still using
How's the Switch compete with that? If this was like the 3DS, then I could kind of understand that. But
why? Even the 3DS isn't even in the same...
I mean, it's a mobile, though. That's the thing. That's the only leap in logic I can see. The Switch thinks that it's mobile. They're like, oh, you can take this anywhere as long as it's within 15 feet of the device.
Yeah.
That's plugged into the wall.
Or a wall, yeah. A wall charger.
Yeah.
Let's see. But courts have shown some reluctance in recent years to issue patent-related sales injunctions, even when infringement is found in two directly competing products. In a broadly similar case, Apple, surprise, surprise, in 2011 alleged that Samsung had infringed on several of its patents, including design patents.
Oh, wait. Didn't Apple try to say, oh, well, we're the ones that did curved...
yeah, I think so.
Did curved edges or whatever.
Though it won the patent case, Apple was long denied an injunction to force Samsung to stop marketing the infringing features. A limited and largely moot version of the injunction was later granted. I gotta look at this. GameVice raised a reported $12.5 million from investors in May as the market for mobile games continues to grow. $12.5 million versus the amount of money that Nintendo's making is a drop in the freaking ocean. Ocean, not bucket. Ocean.
Nintendo could literally say, "Okay, we're going to double that and pay you that, and just leave us alone."
The injunction that Apple was eventually granted only impacts the Galaxy S3 and earlier smartphones that have largely disappeared from the market. So the injunctive relief that Apple finally obtained could be viewed as an empty victory. Nevertheless, the jury awarded Apple about $120 million in damages for the infringement. That's garbage. I think that's probably around the same time that Apple started lagging way behind Samsung's developments anyways, so.
Well, I don't know. I don't think this is going to go anywhere for GameVice.
Probably not.
At the least, they're going to they might get some kind of settlement from, first of all, it's a company on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
I don't know how patents, like
international patent law.
Yeah, did they have to file a patent
Man,
at the patent office over here.
if only I knew a lawyer that knew something about patent laws. Maybe I can have Josh do some digging.
Maybe, Josh might know somebody, right?
Yeah, he should.
But it's just, I don't know, because copywriting across oceans, that's always been a really gray area. And even copyrights stateside are kind of gray. Like, for example, not necessarily everything covered under parody, but some stuff that's not necessarily covered under parody.
Right.
Like when you go to a convention and you see art of like Goku or whatever, Funimation could legally shut those people down, but they don't care because it's not worth their time.
Right.
And plus,
well,
it'd be bad PR.
Stuff your wife's done. I mean,
Yeah,
she does
stuff
crafts.
my wife's done. It's just not worth the effort. There's no money in there for them. The only thing that they actively pursue are things like if you use their logo.
Right.
Because that would invalidate their overall ownership.
Right.
And they literally just say, please don't do this.
It's like
do whatever you want, but just don't slap our logo on there.
It's like when people bastardize the code and the logo for World of Warcraft. We've covered it numerous times. The last one lasted less than a couple of hours, by the way.
Right.
I don't remember if we covered that or not, but
which I can sympathize with the people. They want to play the old version of it, but they are from a legal standpoint, they have no legs.
Right.
Maybe from a moral standpoint, they do. But that's not going to stop anything,
right?
You know,
right.
Unfortunately. So it would be nice if WoW would release like, okay, well this server is going to be completely vanilla,
right?
Don't come, no patches from us,
right?
As is, but you know, and that's kind of getting off the point of this. This thing looks nothing like.
Yeah.
Like when I first heard this, I was like, oh crap, this could be actually something. As obscure as this WikiPad is, but you know, now that we're looking at you know what it looks like? It looks like a Game Gear. It looks like Sega should sue them. Oh, it's our overall design from our Game Gear.
That wedge
and here's
shape.
The thing, that D-pad.
Yeah. Here, let me pull it back up again.
The D-pad looks like, it doesn't look like this one, but it looks like the original ones from the 360.
Yeah, it looks like it kind of looks like the Xbox One ones.
Well, I had a silver one.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
it like popped out that. And the thing is, the whole handheld design, the NES more or less came up with what's been the mainstay for the last 30 years.
Plus, yeah.
So, where do you go from, like, you know, I understand if they literally taking, like, if the Switch looked like that, and it was just two different colors, I could absolutely understand. But this, right. I don't see there being anything because I just don't.
It's a reach and a grab, and that's all it is. That's all it comes.
They probably just want to get their name out there again and maybe get a pay because
nobody wants. Who's Game Vice? Seriously, WikiPad. What?
Maybe this is why Wiki keeps begging for money every time I go on there to read about some obscure battle or whatever. They're like, we made a poor investment into this video game
right
system. Please donate money to us.
Right. Reverse patent suit. There you go. All right.
Countersuing and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Quit wasting my time. I bet you their doors will close quick. All right, everyone. That is all we have for you this week, and it was a lot. I know. Thanks for bearing with us, and thanks for listening. Especially those of you who joined us in the live chat, and you at home, obviously, who download the show. We greatly appreciate all the support you show. You can leave us feedback on anywhere you get our show from, whether you consume it here on YouTube and you're watching it in a replay. You can drop a message in there, or contact us on our other forums. But make sure you check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/stasisgeek. We'll be operating that under the studio name because we'll be doing a lot more than just this show. I think you said you've got a unboxing coming soon. Yeah,
I would have had it last week, but I used the wrong system or the program to do it. So I do have another one, and let's see, do I have the thing right by me? I will show you.
And we'll have to get the art for that eventually.
I'm going to be making a model.
Oh,
I'm really bad at these things too.
Awesome.
I made a model last week, which is sitting right here, but I'm not going to show it to you.
Yeah, you got to check out the video for that.
Yeah, if it ever gets posted.
Oh, it'll get posted. It'll get posted.
It'll totally get posted.
All right, your part.
My part! You can contact us at ECG_podcast on Twitter and our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/ECGpodcast, or our email address at ecgpodcast@gmail.com. Also visit us at our webpage, www.stasisgeek.com. That's STASISGEEK.com. It's not like I spell it every week.
Right.
Or post a comment on our video like Jeremy said, and because I think he said it this week, but we will totally read it.
Yes.
Every week.
Yes, we will totally read it. All right, we will be back next week with lots of our review on Defenders, and Gamescom is this week. So we'll have plenty of news for video games. Apparently, Blizzard's got a big lineup, and there's been more video released for Monster Hunter World. You need to check that out. With it being
watch the Monster Hunter anime.
What's that?
Counterpoint. The Monster Hunter anime that came out. You need to watch that.
Is there? I didn't know.
Monster Hunter Stories or something.
Oh, okay. All right, well, we'll be back next week. Until then, stay geeky.